Hi there, it's Danny Crouch here from This Is My Time. I wanted to show you today how we go about choosing the structural questions for MyWIG. So this is an individual setup for the chapter that I have chosen, which is Learning to Listen. And Nicole Fellerty here from Is This My Story is going to mentor or tutor me through this process. So hopefully you've taken the time to read this document, and now we're going to start answering the questions. So here's Nicole. Welcome, Nicole. Nick?
Hi, Dan.
Okay, so how do I get started? And just give me a brief overview of what I've got to type in here and how I've got to start thinking.
Okay, so basically in the third column, you're going to be brainstorming different ideas so that you can put your ideas out on paper. There's guiding questions in both the centre and first column. And really what I'm going to do today is just ask you a few questions based on those questions, and you will write whatever is coming into your head, and our aim is just to get the thoughts from your mind and onto the paper.
Cool. All right, so obviously I'm doing learn to listen or learning to listen. Where do we start and what have I got to do?
Okay, so the first thing I want you to think about is what's the main problem or concept here? What are we talking about?
Trying to work out why it's important to learn how to listen and how so many people don't know how to listen properly or actively listen. Is that the right phrase?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Remember, every answer you give is right. This is just about you putting your ideas down on paper, so everything you say is right.
Okay, awesome, cool.
So who is most at risk of this problem?
Okay, do I need to type something in here?
Yep.
Okay, so what was that first question again?
Okay, so the first one is, what's the main problem? What's the main issue that you're going to write about?
Okay, well, the main issue, or the main solution. Oh, okay, right now. Someone would have noticed that. I've got to type in the actual box that I'm typing on. Underline off, enter, enter. So is it the main issue or the main solution? What am I looking for?
Either. It's the main concept.
Okay.
Depends on what subject you're doing. So if you're doing learn to listen.
So it's to have a greater understanding of why it's important to learn how to listen. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So do I have to write the issue as well?
At this stage, you can just leave what's there. Remember, you're going to go back and edit it all. This is simply about getting your ideas down.
Okay, cool. That makes sense.
Okay, so who do you think is at risk of this?
Well, everyone.
All right.
A lot of people don't know how to listen properly.
Why is it important to learn to listen then?
Okay, so I'll type and say it at the same time. So
yep.
It's important to, I'm going to abbreviate this, learn how to listen because you need to understand others, and more importantly, understand how to listen to yourself. I was going to ask, is that correct? But that's my thought, so it doesn't matter whether it's correct or not. I'll work about that later.
That's right, exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
Cool. So where to now?
So who's at risk of this problem? Who do you think will most benefit from learning to listen? Which is the group of people or the thought people might be having? Or
okay, hang on, I've got a thought here. So listening to others will help you understand perspective and how others or other people view themselves and their world around them. Yeah, because it's not just how they view themselves, it's about how they view their world, I suppose, yeah. So people tend to be very subjective. Geez, I wish I could type faster. And find it challenging. I suppose it gives everyone the opportunity to think a bit longer. So so it's challenging to be objective. Oh, here's a good one. Getting stuck in their own world provides resistance to understanding the perspective of others. Just a bit of spell check here. Gooting? Yep, cool. Getting stuck. I love that word stuck. It reminds me of Joe Parnay every time he did that 60-second speech.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so does that make more sense to you now? Are you getting a better picture?
And the main thing is for you to be getting a picture.
So getting a bit of clarity.
Yeah.
Isn't that right, Lee?
So, who do you think's at risk? What sort of personality type, or at what time in a person's life are they most likely to be suffering?
Oh, geez, where do you start? I suppose they're at risk of not listening to their parents when they're young.
No. Trying to find it as a group. Who do you think?
Okay, so yep. So people are most at risk. People are most at risk. People most at risk, I should say. People most at risk are various, if that's spelled right, various groups such as young adults, or students, I suppose. Oh no, young adults, because the students can be older. Young adults searching for their own identity for the first time.
Okay.
Identity for, because they're like teenagers just starting to create their own identity. So that whole rebellious stage where they've been living under their parents' guidance, they're wanting to go out on their own. So they see it as rebellion, where I'm thinking it's just they're not actually listening to themselves. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Or people, other people, who would they be? Looking to redefine themselves.
Yeah, so he's around that identity area still.
How do I say it? They're looking to redefine themselves. Or that their identity is at risk.
Yep.
Which is quite common.
Yeah.
So I'll give you some examples, such as, I can probably do this in bullet point, actually. What can I say? Let me think for a minute.
Yeah, you're doing well. Perfect. Remember, this is just about your ideas. All your ideas and everything is correct.
Okay.
That's it. So couples, what do you...
Couples entering into a new relationship for the first time. No, it doesn't have to. It's any relationship, I suppose.
Entering into a new relationship.
Well, it doesn't have to be couples, does it? So I don't even need that. It's just people.
Yeah.
So it could be a work relationship.
Yeah.
Or,
perfect. This is what this is it.
You're
cool. Brainstorming ideas and they're flowing and redefining.
Geez, you guys, if you love doing this, we need to do a one-on-one with Nick. This is unbelievable. I'm not big on writing, and this is just getting the juices flowing immensely. So, okay, I was going to say new businesses, but it's any business really. So, businesses searching for growth and improvement, and I'll just put in that new customers, more sales, because they need to understand the customers. Yeah, that sort of suggests itself, because I'm talking about understanding others by listening. So if I say new customers, it means they need to understand their customers better. So this is where I'm finding a niche in the sales industries and business corporate world, people need to learn to listen to their customers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
What strength? What strength, Linda? What strength? My God. This is too easy. This is too easy. Yeah, I'm getting sidetracked again.
Yep.
Okay, what about people who aren't working yet? So individuals, how do you spell individuals? Individuals looking for a job. So job seekers.
Remember, spelling's not important at this stage.
Okay.
Neither is grammar. It is simply getting your...
I'm anal. I'm AD.
So it's about getting the ideas down.
Individuals looking for a job, job seekers, or even a new career path. So they may already have a job. They might just be looking to change their identity. So that's that whole thing again.
Okay.
Yeah,
any
cool.
more? Are there any others?
There's got to be something around weight loss or something. Okay. You're going to love this pun. I know you love puns. And the big one. You get that? So it's sort of suggesting they're big people already. Let's say people wanting, wanting and even needing, because some of them need to do this. Let's look on the positive first. Better health, or a healthier lifestyle, or a healthier lifestyle.
Okay. So is there other things associated with health?
AKA weight loss.
And anything else around that?
Smoking. Drugs. How do you spell it? Drugs. Diet. Exercise. Bloody hell. I'm running out of paper. Gambling. Aging. And why am I swearing? I'm loving this. Okay, let's move on.
Okay, so when's this going? What's the see what question we asked now. What's the, now I can't see the questions that are already there.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Okay, so when's this relevant? Oh, you've looked at when it's relevant in a person's life. How's this going to transform a person? How's it going to transform their life?
Okay, I'll just start typing.
Yeah, just think.
This will transform your life. So I'm moving away now from talking about other people, and now I'm making it about you and your. So I'm trying to bring, is that right? Am I trying to bring the reader into it being about them now, not about someone else?
Yep. Yep.
Is that a fair assumption? So this is like NLP, isn't it? This is presuppositions, yeah?
Yeah.
This will transform your life when you begin to understand yourself more and others.
Okay. Well, keep going.
I suppose you can find confidence. I know where I'm going with this. You guys don't know yet. You can find confidence in your values and beliefs, and of course, and with them comes your where am I? Internal strengths, because it's not external, is it, Linda? Beliefs. Sorry, I can't help myself. I've got to fix it. 2AD. And with them comes your internal strengths and motivation. Yep, to achieve what you want to achieve. I've got to keep going. One way to learn. Actually, I was going to do the shortened version on it. L to L. Learn to listen. Better. Is better? Better.
You can always change.
I like the word better.
Change
better
later.
is to learn how to ask better. It's got to be better. Better questions. That's the alliteration, is it? Is that repetition or alliteration or something like that? Better questions of both yourself and others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So have you got more to get in there?
And the answers will provide you with the no, not the, your, with your, sorry, I'm starting to scroll down the page, aren't I? With your, provide you with your vision, your mission, or your own wig. Gotta plug the company. Wildly insane goals. How many have I got there? So I've got Colin with value and beliefs. I've got Linda with strengths. I've got Anna with motivation. We've got me with learn to listen. We've got Dean with ask better questions. We've got vision with Jez. What are we missing? Oh, that's too blatantly obvious, isn't it? And of course, as a result, you have absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Oh, I love this.
All right. Keep focusing.
Yep, cool. Sorry.
All right.
I'm not going to apologise. No, bugger that.
No, it's all right. I'll just keep you on track.
Water time.
So while you're drinking water, think about...
you know how this is, what's so cool about this is I'm actually writing, but I found a way how I can still talk while I'm writing.
Okay, well, while you're writing and thinking and talking,
Yep.
start answering. How are you going to answer?
Yep.
What have people tried to do in the past? So when people have identified they've got this thing, listening, what sort of strategies?
Okay, yep, I've got a spiel on this. I do this with people. It's about actively listening. So say the question again.
What have people tried to do in the past to solve this problem?
In the past, no, it's not to solve the problem. I've got to identify the problem first. So I don't know why there's 6 leading questions, but you can explain that later. In the past, you have probably found yourself listening or noticed others not listening attentively. Do you remember how frustrating it is when you are talking to someone and they're playing with their phone, texting, Facebooking, etc.
Okay.
Or when they're not even looking at you. They're looking at someone or something with a G, not K, or at something,
Focus.
someone or something else. Why isn't someone writing a chapter on focus? Oh, they are, clarity. Or when they're not even looking at you, they're looking at someone or something else. Yep, that's frustrating. So I should even number these. Do you remember how frustrating it is when you are talking to someone and 1, they're playing with their phone, texting, Facebooking, or 2, when they're not even looking at you, they're looking at someone else or something else. I'm going to scroll down. 3, what is it? How do I verbalize it? How do I write it? So first of all, they're texting or playing with their phone. Then they're looking around the room or looking at something else. Then they are actually focusing on you. They are actually focusing on you, or at least giving you the impression they are watching you, and even your lips move, but the little voice inside their head is still chatting away, talking to them. asking or planning questions to ask you, or interrupt you, or interject you. That's a word, isn't it? Interject. I like that word.
Okay. So with all those...
Hang on, I've still got one to go, I think.
Okay.
Interrupt you or interject you. And you only realise that when you can actually pay 100% attention, you no longer actually hear that voice. You actually wait until they stop talking before you think about a response. Oh my God, do you realise what I've just done? I've just turned that about from it being about you're the talker and the other person is the listener to changing the whole context so that you have actually now become the listener and you're identifying when your voices are talking inside your head, and you now know that you've got to stop that talking so you can listen to that other person.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's interesting. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Actually,
now, the next part here.
In this box here, or am I going down further?
No, you're still in the same box.
Okay.
Still, what's a person done? If a person realises they're not listening, so they've been on their phone texting or whatever, and suddenly look up and think, oh man, I wasn't listening properly.
Yep.
What do they tend to do? What do they tend to do in the past? What do they do that's not effective?
Guess.
Uh-huh. And is there a problem with that? What does guessing do?
It implies they're not listening.
Yeah, and so what's the effect on a relationship or on their customer or...
Okay, so the person sending the message feels like they're not being listened to or they're not being heard.
Yeah.
And then, is it judgment?
Yeah, could be.
Okay.
Just throw the ideas down.
So what's the question again?
What is a person when they've realised they've not been listening?
Okay. When a person realises they've not been listening, they often guess before asking questions.
And why is that a problem?
What did I say? Not being listening, they often guess, which then lets the messenger know they haven't been heard, or their partner, boss, customer, body has not been listening. Actually, I suppose...
or is it they haven't been heard?
I suppose that may be why we often get sick, because because we are not listening to our bodies. I've got to do a webinar on this. Hang on, I am. Yeah, cool. Of course I am. My unconscious mind is allowing my conscious mind to catch up. I'm getting sidetracked again.
Yes, getting sidetracked. Just go back up to the questions again.
Okay.
So what we've been trying to look at is what contributes to the problem, what have people tried to do to address the problem in the past, why it hasn't worked.
Yeah.
So why does all of a sudden trying to guess what someone said, why doesn't it work?
I don't want to say they got it wrong. There's no right or wrong. It just is. It's providing feedback. Is that right?
Well, in this case, you can almost say it's wrong because what you're establishing is that what you've been doing in the past hasn't always worked. So what we're going to do now is give you
rather
better
than
strategies.
saying wrong, it's not the best.
Not empowering?
It's not empowering. Okay, yeah, cool. I like that. So question again, please.
can you put it back up so I can have a look at what it was, because I can't remember exactly what I said.
Yeah. Just a point to remember, with these 3 columns, it might be easier just to write the question across the top and then the second column underneath, and this is open to suggestion, and then have the big box there so all this typing is just in one sort of bay.
Yeah, we can change it around.
Yeah.
The other thing you could do, a person could do, is have another document open and just have a separate document. That way you're doing it straight up on a single sheet.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
Okay, so what you're looking at now is what could be, why hasn't it worked?
You're looking at all my friends now.
Yeah.
I see them.
I think we're at to why didn't it work?
Yeah, sort of got off track again. So what we're saying, what do we call it? Inactive listening? Mm-hmm. Is it inactive listening?
Yeah, inattentive listening.
Inattentive or inactive listening is very disempowering. Why?
For who? Who's it disempowering for?
For both the messenger and the listener. Messengeree. Don't know how you spell messenger. Maybe it's with an E. Of course it is. Daily messenger. Yep. Inattentive or inactive listening is very disempowering for both the messenger and the listener. So the goal here is to be involved, be a part of, the goal here is to create a more empowering environment for you and all those around you.
Okay, can you just go up to those top questions again for me one more time?
Yep.
So really what we're going to look at now is how someone can do it better. So looking at that question, who has been successful in solving the problem? What sort of things can a person do to solve their listening problem?
Okay. To solve their listening problem, obviously the first one I'm going to recommend, to solve their listening problem, firstly, they should get a listening coach.
Just right.
And along with that, what I believe is the most important part is actually identifying the problem, which can be 80% of the work.
Okay, right.
Then the easy part is the solution.
Okay, so what is the, just put some steps down there now. You can, or you're going to elaborate later.
Got more on this? Yeah, okay, I remember this. So put some steps down now. So
put some steps down.
Step 1. Step 1. Pay attention. Doesn't have to be in this order, does it?
Nope. You're just putting
Concentrate.
Putting down ideas. And if you don't have a lot, care.
Care is a big one.
Yeah. The thing to remember here, if
want to listen.
And remember, you can
understand the importance.
Remember, you can always come back to this, and you will fill in more details later. If you identify that you don't have the full series of steps yet, then you know that's what you need to research, and you can always come in and put that in later.
Okay, cool. So how many of these steps do I need?
How many?
Enough?
Yeah.
So I need to pay attention, concentrate, care, want to listen, understand the importance. If you want physical things, it should be extreme, turn your phone off, unless you're on the phone talking to someone and you're wanting to listen to them.
Should you have your Facebook on?
Turn Facebook off. So we want some basic tools, I suppose, here. So maybe the top 10. So I've got 8, so I need 3 more. No, sorry, I've got 7, I need 3 more. So what else do you need to listen? Understanding love. Is that a bit spacey?
Not necessarily. Put it down. Remember, at the moment, everything goes down, and it's later that you write and cull and
so
things
pay
like
attention, concentrate, care, want to listen, understand the importance, turn off the phone, turn Facebook off, or any social media for that space. Love.
They need to work out a reason to listen.
To
be clear about their mission, maybe. To be clear about why they're listening. Okay.
Clarity of vision.
Could be. At the moment, you're just putting down the ideas.
Yeah. Okay. Well, obviously, they're going to be the chapters that are in this first book. So it's clarity of vision, their motivation. So it's going to be more than 10. Their motivation to listen, their values. Yeah, they need to value listening. And how's it a strength? They want listening to be a strength, I suppose. So how do we make that?
Yeah. So these might go somewhere else. Remember that you probably want to give a person reading this is going to want to say, okay, so what do I need to do to fix my problem? I know I can't listen all that well.
Okay,
so
but what
I'm
actually doing here is providing a list, and if I can identify that they need clarity of vision, motivation, and value of listening, it then makes it more important to want to read the other chapters in this book.
Sure.
So we're actually cross-marketing, cross-pollinating, and for want of a better word, our different chapters with each other, showing the importance of having each chapter in their life. So that's why they're choosing their own chapter, but whatever chapter they choose, they will see the link to the other chapters.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Cool. So, geez, I just realised I haven't got my phone off. They've got a value listening, they've got their vision, they've got their motivation, and it is a strength. They've got to identify it as a strength. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Do you think they need to ask questions to check their own understanding?
Ask questions to understand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 13. Lucky 13. Mm-hmm. Cool. Is that it for this square?
Just go back up again, have a look.
Okay.
Also, see what you've done now. You've actually, how does the problem relate to the other concepts? So you've already looked at that.
Well, my unconscious mind obviously did, but I didn't read that. Yeah.
Yeah. How does the problem relate to the other chapters? You've basically covered that.
Just to fill you in, guys that are listening, I know you're listening, or otherwise you wouldn't be hearing me. I haven't read this yet. It's been an affliction of mine because I like to listen and talk, so I've wanted Nick to tell me all this stuff rather than actually read and write it. So this is the first time I'm actually reading it for myself. So you're hearing this raw. Cool.
So the sorts of questions, the sorts of things that you can look at now, because this is to be the body of the chapter, is can you think of any examples of people who are successful listeners that do this really well?
Okay.
And you can also then start thinking about some stories, metaphors, or analogies. Okay, so the next part is to try and come up with someone who's done it successfully in the past and a rough outline or a guide of a story or an analogy used to illustrate the concepts.
So I've got them already. Where do I put them?
In the box down the bottom.
Okay.
Keep going.
So there, or the next box?
No, this box. This is still all the body of the...
So you want stories? Mm-hmm. So how many? I can give you 10. I can give you 50 if you want.
Just write down 1 or 2 words that will trigger your memory for what the story is.
Weight loss. Listening. Mm-hmm. So you want more listening stories, okay? Yes. SPs, 10 success. What's the CD pack called? Your success.
10 steps.
Steps. I know what it is. Your success.
Success. Yeah, your success.
So there's 2. We do things in 3, so let's have 3 stories.
Well, see, what you've got there is one person who's saying that Sharon Pearson does it well, so that would be a person that you're going to...
Okay, yep. But I actually listen to her every day on the tape, so that's going to be the story. The other one is one of my clients who I've already asked his permission to tell this story, and I even said I'll change the story so it doesn't sound obvious to you, and this is how cool it is. He said, no, use it because I'm not embarrassed about who I am. I'm comfortable with myself, which I thought was really, really empowering.
He must be a great listener.
Yeah, well, he's a trainer. He trains business and management, so he gets all this stuff brilliantly.
So anyway, we're getting distracted.
So weight loss, SPs
Can you
10
think of
steps to
someone
success.
Can you think of someone who's a good listener? So who would be a role model?
Oh, an awesome one is someone I interviewed a couple of years back, Alan Pease. He's a body language expert. So not only does he listen to the words you say, he listens to the tone, but he also listens to your body. And even when I was interviewing him, just sitting there.
You don't need to get distracted right now.
That's the story. I'm getting into the story. Okay, cool.
What about, just with that, can you think of someone who might be a little bit more well-known? Famous person who's good at listening? So thinking Alan Pease, would it be someone like The Mentalist? That's just off the top of my head. Can you think of a sports person or an interviewer? Or
okay. Aussie actor Simon Baker, Simon Baker from The Mentalist. So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use my story with Alan Pease to relate it to The Mentalist and Simon Baker.
Yep.
And the fact that he's Australian, and if this happens to end up over in the States, they will link it to The Mentalist. Yeah, cool. Like
okay,
that.
Cool. Now we're just going to go through, so you'll have enough to play with there.
Yep.
And now we're going to go through to how you're going to draw it all together in the conclusion.
Okay, cool.
So what you're looking at there is how can people now apply this, apply the solution so that they have a better future.
Yep.
And what is the most useful thing or important thing that a person should understand about this. So you're offering now an insight.
Okay. Well, going back to, and this is, I'm open to discussion here, even with the guys in the group, talking about your other chapters, and this could be anyone that's going to join the system later down the track, but at the moment I'm specifically talking about the current book we're writing.
Don't get distracted.
Yeah, no. I'm suggesting here that the tools that these people would use is actually to do a strengths test or to do a values test to understand their own values and understand their own strengths, which will allow them to listen better.
That can come later.
Yeah?
Before you get to that part, though, you've got to look at this. The aim is this is a chapter about listening. So someone's been introduced to the problem, that you've given them a whole lot of solutions.
Okay, I'm not listening. I'm trying to talk over
Yeah.
you.
So you've given them the problem. You've given them a whole lot of steps about what they can do.
Yep.
Now paint them the picture of how good their life is going to be now that they can listen.
Another story?
You can give another story, so you might want to say, imagine this, but just write down the strategies. How good is their life going to be now that they know how to listen?
Okay, so imagine Nick and Dan's communication. I learnt how to listen by reading and writing. So I start with a story, and then this is how good my life is, or do I need to say how good their life is? Can they understand from my story how much my life has improved, therefore related to how they're going to improve?
You want to make it about them. You want to, what you're doing, as the question there in that first column, you're going to offer a piece of insight that guides the reader to the outcome. You're reminding the reader why this is important to them.
So by reading this chapter, is that what you're saying?
Yep.
By reading this chapter, they...
And listening to the words.
And listening to the words on the page. Well, they might actually get this book as an audio, so or as an audio. I learned how to listen by reading this chapter and listening to the words on the page, or as an audio.
You
will automatically become a more effective listener.
And what's that going to do for their life?
Why?
What's that going to do for their life? What will be? Think about what you wrote in the beginning.
This will. Okay, sorry, I got interrupted. What? Think about the beginning. What?
Think about what you wrote in the beginning, and remember you talked about how the problem and how that affects their people's identity and their relationships.
Okay,
so what are they going to have as a result of being a better listener?
Okay, so go back. So as a result of being a better listener, you will understand yourself better and those around you.
And why is that a good thing?
Because you show you care.
Why is that a good thing? That can help the other person. Why is that? How's that also going to help you?
Grow your world.
Yeah, but again,
No.
What's going to make a person think I've really got to listen better because it's going to be better for me and my those around me because I can now
understand.
Yep.
I've already got that, isn't it?
Yep. What will being more
so do
understanding
I need to go back
give you?
And read what I wrote?
Yep, that's a good idea. Yep, go back and read your introduction again.
So, oh God, did I write that much?
Mm-hmm.
Geez, I didn't think I'd write that much. Understand perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And how others view themselves and their world.
Mm-hmm.
So they will now understand.
Why is that going to be good for you? If you have a bit wider perspective and you understand the way others are going to view their world and you're thinking in terms of customers, for example, or your relationships, maybe think about it that way. Think about it with a business. If you're a business and you now understand the perspective of your customer, how is that going to...
You're going to form greater relationships.
Yep, and the greater relationship.
With yourself and with others.
Yep, and the greater relationships will give you...
hang on. Okay, I'm getting caught up. So as a result of being a better listener, you will understand yourself better and those around you. You will grow and improve your relationship with yourself and those around you, such as your kids, wife, hubby, boss, customers.
Think about the universal fears too. How are you...
Okay. So the 3 universal fears that I talk about. Okay. You'll grow and improve your relationship with yourself and those around you, such as your kids, wife, hubby, boss, customers. What were the other areas?
Team, your work team.
Etc. That's good enough. And that's self, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't matter. I'll add it in.
Yeah.
So, how do I include the 3 universal fears?
Just write the universal.
It will...
just list them down for now.
Yep, hang on. Listening will allow you to address the 3 universal fears where you will no longer, can I say no longer? You will...
This is the conclusion, so you want to be positive. You'll feel as though you belong.
You feel as though you belong. You will see yourself being good enough and hear that you are being loved.
So essentially there, are you saying that a person will start to develop security in their own identity and that so they won't be their identity won't be threatened?
They will develop
secure identity?
A secure identity.
No, so they're not going to feel like they're threatened.
And the confidence and self-belief
to be themselves, maybe?
To be their true self.
Their authentic self. Truth self, authentic self.
Their authentic, A-U-T-A, authentic self.
There you go. And remember, this is still rough and you're going to play with it.
Rough? This is awesome. I've almost written the chapter. Bloody hell, I didn't think it was going to be... I knew it was going to be easy. I didn't think it was going to be this easy.
Okay.
So now, is that it for these questions?
That's the brainstorm. And then what you've got underneath is some...
Okay, before we go into that, I think that's probably long enough for the people who've been listening and watching. For the group who are currently writing the book now, what I'll probably recommend, because actually a couple of people, Anna and Lee, weren't on the meeting last week, how about those that have started answering their questions? Awesome, great stuff. How about you have another week up your sleeve? But for those of you that want to start back again with this sort of stuff, if you want to go back over choosing your structural questions, if you're happy with them, that's fine. If you've gained a bit of knowledge and you've actually learnt something from what you listened to here today, go back and listen to Nick's words and how she's created the story around answering these questions, because I had no clue what these meant before. And if you want some help, for the 8 people that are writing the chapter, we've got time to spend with you. Obviously, if you're listening to this at a later date, Nick is obviously an editor and a literacy coach, so you might be able to look at using her services. But if you love this, guys, get in touch. You know how to find us on the MyQuest Facebook page, MyQuest. You can PM, personal message, private message me on I'm Danny Crouch at This Is My Time, or you can find us at isthismystory.com. Anything else you wanted to add, Nick?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, in that third column at the moment, each of the sections has headings, as in, for example, 2 leading questions. What we've done, or what we've been doing here with Dan, is actually using that as a space to put brainstorming ideas rather than actually list questions. So Danny's right. I guess wanted to clarify that you've written ideas rather than questions.
Okay.
So.
Oh, yeah, I didn't get that. Yeah,
right. So some people may have already written questions there, what sort of questions they want to ask of themselves. We decided, because of the way Danny learns, we've decided to skip that part and gone straight for, I've asked him the questions and he's just written down his ideas straight away rather than doing it a question way. So the main thing to remember here is...
I was meant to write questions there, was I?
Yeah, but we're not meant to. The main thing is this is your document. You do with it what you want and you fill in the table as you want. And
so for those that have written questions, they haven't done anything wrong?
No, it is impossible to do something wrong. Absolutely impossible. Everything's right.
They're coaches, they understand.
Everything's right.
Yeah, they're all coaches.
Okay, so then what we can do, Dan and I will do later on, is go through the questions down the bottom. Dan's going to choose, now that he's got an idea of where he's going, he's going to choose the 10 questions that he'll look at from the 20 questions below.
Yeah. And if you can understand, as I've said to you before, guys, and for those that haven't heard this before, I'm very auditory, so you've noticed that I love to talk and I like to listen, and that's why I'm writing my chapter on learning how to listen. I've been quite apprehensive answering our first 10 questions because it's the thought of actually having to sit down and write. So allowing myself to do this has really opened up my understanding of how to write this book. It was all just a figment of my imagination in my head. And my absolute trust in Nick, and that she can bring anything together and edit it and make a book out of it, which is really, really awesome. And I've sort of lost the track of where I was going with this comment, but geez, where was it? Sorry, it's gone. It wasn't important, so I don't remember. Oh no, that's where I was going with it. Yeah, so if you're struggling at the moment to write whatever needs to go in this page, pick up the phone or Facebook someone within the group that you're writing the book with, or pick up the phone or Facebook or email one of us, and we'll find the time to help you in one way or another. Because if you're auditory like me and you want to speak this rather than write it, Nick's obviously got the tools to be able to do that, and now we've actually given you the tools to be able to do that yourself. So you'll be able to create that in others by becoming a better listener. You've now learned how to become a better listener, and you can listen to yourself and others and write your chapter of whatever it is. So I hope you've taken a lot of value out of this and it motivates you to want to sit down and write these questions and answers, and it gives you a lot of clarity because there's a lot of strength in what we're doing as a group, guys, and I really do love all of you and appreciate everything that you've provided. And please ask more questions, because if I don't know you need answers, how do I know what you want? So ask as many questions as you can. And we'll get to where we want to get to. So really, really cool. I'm betting you can start to see the vision that I've had. Thanks, Jez. Love the vision. But cool. Let's get stuck into this. I'm looking forward to talking to you again on Monday night. If you want some help, Nick and I will be around over the next couple of days before that meeting. If you've got another meeting or you don't know what a meeting is, as I said, go to MyQuest or go to Is This My Story. You'll find us if you really want to. And you'll get involved. So thanks for listening. I don't know how long this has gone for, but it's valuable. Take care. Thanks, Nick. We really appreciate what you've done here. And we can see where this is going because of your creation. Awesome.
Thanks, Dan.
Cool. All right. Bye, guys.